Howard is a brilliant, creative, charismatic guy. He used to love life. Right now, he hates it.
I try to talk to him, I try to reach him, and he's not there. I miss him.
The Collateral Beauty.
Well, it was a comedy that made me cry, and that was really surprising. It was very touching story, but also really funny. And the opportunity to work with Will Smith, who was already involved with the project, was so compelling that I said yes really quickly. You know, any movie you make, you draw up your dream cast and make a list of who would be the best possible actors you could possibly get for each role. And somehow it seems like for this movie, we got everybody at the top of our list. Well, I think it's a fable because it has a magical element that, you know, it has, I think now we call it magical realism. You know, in the old days, it would have been just, you know, a story about angels. It's a fable because I think everything works out and everybody learns something from their experience. And, you know, I mean, I don't even know the actual definition of fable, but it seems like a story that just reflects our imagination of how the world should work, rather than maybe the way that it actually does. And so in the cinematography, we've made it as magical as possible. It's Christmas in New York, but it's a very magical Christmas in New York, where there are Christmas trees and Christmas lights everywhere, which is not that exaggerated, but it's very beautiful, and it's you know it's a you know we had movies like It's a Wonderful Life in mind, and the sense that it's a world, you know, little, maybe in a snow globe that got shaken up, and then you come into the theater and sit with these characters and watch the story unfold in this magical universe. They're all big movie stars, and we know them in iconic roles, and we know them from, you know, magazines and the internet and gossip, but the fact is, these are all really passionate actors with a real love of their craft, brilliance at their craft, and but also deep affection for the process of making movies, for the fun of showing up and not knowing what's going to happen, and not knowing what the other person is going to say, or being intimidated by the other actors in the scene and trying to raise your game, and that's exciting to them. And so every day, because everybody was always working with someone that they deeply respected, was exciting. For me, it's the easiest job in the world, because I mean, am I intimidated? You bet. You know, I mean, these are people I've watched all my life, and have loved watching, and then suddenly you're in a room with them, and they're looking at you like, what do I do? And the fact is, they know what to do. You know, you give them a great screenplay, tell them where to stand or sit, and they're off to the races. So for me, you know, mostly it was just literally stand in the shadows and listen and laugh or cry and say cut. What you do come away with is, I think, stimulated to think about how love, time, and death affect you in your own life, and I think obviously these are ideas that all of us have to wrestle with, the importance of these abstract notions, and you know, I think that's the beauty of the movie, is that you walk out of the theater and hopefully deeply moved, and also stimulated to deep thought. Collateral beauty are those moments that make life worth living. The things that we sometimes take for granted, that we don't notice all the time, that might be there every day, like a sunset, or might be fleeting, like a child's smile. And there are millions of examples of collateral beauty. They're unique. We all have different ideas about what they could be. They are the reason that we live and love, and I think that's what's really beautiful about the title, and of course really compelling about the movie, is that it reminds us to notice those tiny little fragments of life that make it worth living.